Imagine a world where the American lion roamed North America, restoring balance to the ecosystem. In this video, we'll explore the potential of reintroducing lions into North America and how it could impact the ecosystem. Lions have a fascinating prehistoric history in North America. Although modern African lions, Panthera leo, never inhabited the continent, North America was once home to a close relative, the American lion, Panthera atrox, also known as the North American lion. Here's an overview of the history of lions in North America. The American lion, Panthera atrox, roamed North America during the Pleistocene epoch, from around 340,000 years ago until it went extinct about 11,000 years ago. The American lion was larger than the modern African lion, making it one of the largest big cats to ever exist. It measured up to 12 feet long from nose to tail and could weigh as much as 1,200 pounds compared to African lions, which typically weigh between 300 and 500 pounds. These lions lived in diverse habitats, ranging from the open plains and savannas to wooded regions of North America, particularly in the western United States, from Alaska down to Mexico. Fossils have been found in areas like California, Texas, and even parts of Canada. Prey and ecosystem role. The American lion was a top predator in North America, feeding on large prey such as bison, horses, camels, deer, and even the massive mammoths and mastodons that roamed the continent during the Ice Age. As an apex predator, it played a crucial role in maintaining the balance of the Pleistocene ecosystems by controlling herbivore populations, similar to how modern lions affect the ecosystems in Africa today. The American lion went extinct about 11,000 years ago, around the same time as the disappearance of other megafauna during the Pleistocene megafaunal extinction. This extinction event also wiped out animals like the woolly mammoth, saber-toothed cats and ground sloths. The exact reasons for the extinction of the American lion are debated, but likely factors include climate change at the end of the Ice Age, leading to habitat changes and a reduction in prey. Overhunting by humans, who were spreading across North America during the same period and could have hunted both lions and their prey. 1. Relation to other lion species. The American lion is believed to be closely related to the Eurasian cave lion, Panthera spelaea, and is part of the Panthera genus, which includes modern big cats like African lions, tigers, and leopards. There is still debate among scientists about whether Panthera atrox was a distinct species or a subspecies of the Eurasian cave lion, suggesting that the two may have shared a common ancestor. Legacy and fossil discoveries. Fossils of the American lion have been found in places like the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles, California, and other sites across the western United States. These fossils help paleontologists reconstruct the behavior, diet, and ecology of this extinct predator, and understand how it interacted with other species in Pleistocene ecosystems, lions and other big cats in post-Pleistocene North America. After the extinction of the American lion, the main large cat species in North America became the cougar, Puma concolor, also known as the mountain lion or puma, and the jaguar, Panthera onca. These cats are much smaller than the American lion, but continue to fill similar ecological roles in some regions. Potential for rewilding. Some conservationists and paleontologists have suggested that reintroducing large apex predators, such as lions or related species, could help restore ecological balance in modern North America, where overgrazing by herbivores like deer has become a problem. However, the rewilding of lions in North America remains a controversial and largely theoretical concept due to ethical, ecological, and logistical challenges. The American lion represents a fascinating chapter in North America's prehistoric megafauna, and though extinct, its role as a top predator has shaped the continent's ecological history. Rewilding lions in North America, while a bold and complex idea, could provide several ecological, economic, and conservation benefits. Introducing an apex predator like lions could help restore ecosystems, prevent overgrazing, and promote biodiversity. Restoration of ecosystems. Lions as apex predators would control populations of herbivores like deer, elk, or bison, preventing overgrazing. This could lead to healthier plant communities, improved vegetation and restored habitats for a wide variety of species. For example, similar effects were observed after the reintroduction of wolves to Yellowstone National Park, where the decline of deer and elk populations led to the regeneration of forests and wetlands. By preying on herbivores, lions would reduce pressure on plant life, allowing ecosystems to naturally balance themselves. This can also benefit smaller predators, scavengers, and even insect populations that depend on decaying organic matter and vegetation. Biodiversity boost healthy ecosystems often depend on apex predators to maintain biodiversity. Lions could help support a wider variety of plants, animals, and insects by preventing overpopulation of specific species. By restoring balance, the presence of lions could enhance the overall resilience of ecosystems in the face of environmental changes. The ecological effects of lions could help support native species by creating better environments. For example, prairies and grasslands that become overgrazed can harm smaller species like birds and rodents, and an apex predator can reduce such damage. Prevention of overgrazing North America, particularly in certain regions, faces issues with overpopulation of herbivores such as deer. These species can cause environmental degradation by overgrazing, leading to soil erosion, the loss of plant species, and habitat destruction for other animals. Lions would help manage herbivore populations, reducing the need for human intervention like culling. Without large predators, certain plant species are at risk of disappearing due to herbivore overconsumption. Restoring a predator-prey dynamic could help protect forests, grasslands, and other ecosystems from irreversible damage. Climate and carbon sequestration. By reducing the pressure on vegetation caused by overgrazing, lions could indirectly help increase plant growth. Healthier plant populations could enhance carbon sequestration, helping to combat climate change. In turn, richer plant life provides habitat for a variety of other species, promoting ecosystem health. Healthy ecosystems with apex predators tend to be more resilient to disturbances like climate change. Having diverse ecosystems that can adapt and recover from environmental changes is vital for long-term sustainability. Economic and ecotourism benefits. Rewilding lions in certain protected areas could attract tourists, much like African safaris do today. Ecotourism could generate significant revenue for regions that reintroduce lions, supporting local economies and conservation efforts. Wildlife conservation programs, including rewilding projects, create jobs in wildlife management, tourism, research, and education. These efforts could benefit communities near protected reserves where lions are introduced. A large-scale conservation effort like lion rewilding would likely attract attention from conservationists, researchers, and the public. Increased awareness could lead to stronger support for other environmental efforts, from habitat restoration to species protection. Conservation and rewilding models. Successful lion rewilding in North America could serve as a model for other conservation projects around the world, encouraging reintroduction of predators in regions where they have gone extinct. Lessons learned from managing predator-prey dynamics and human-lion interactions could benefit future projects. While African lions never lived in North America, their prehistoric relative, the American lion, Panthera atrox, was a top predator until its extinction about 11,000 years ago. Reintroducing lions could be seen as an attempt to restore ecosystems to a state similar to what they were before human impacts and climate changes caused the extinction of megafauna. Genetic and scientific value. Rewilding lions in North America could present opportunities for genetic research, including studying how large predators adapt to new environments, genetic diversity in rewilding projects, and ecosystem interactions. The presence of lions in North America would offer scientists valuable insights into predator-prey relationships, animal behavior, and ecological restoration techniques, contributing to a wider body of knowledge in conservation biology. Challenges to consider human-wildlife conflict. Lions could pose a risk to livestock and human populations, especially in areas near farming communities. Habitat suitability. Finding large, suitable habitats where lions can thrive without human interference would be a challenge. Public perception and legal barriers. gaining public and political support for introducing a large non-native predator could face resistance. Rewilding lions in North America could offer substantial ecological and economic benefits, especially in restoring ecosystems, promoting biodiversity and controlling herbivore populations. However, any reintroduction project would need to carefully balance the ecological impact with human considerations, requiring significant planning, research and public engagement. Rewilding lions in North America would require selecting large, protected areas with suitable habitats, minimal human interference, and ecological conditions that could support a population of apex predators like lions. Potential rewilding locations would need to provide ample space, prey availability, and the ability to sustain a balanced ecosystem. Here are some areas in North America that might be considered Great Plains, US and Canada. The Great Plains were once home to large predators like wolves, grizzly bears, and even American lions during the Pleistocene epoch. These wide-open grasslands could potentially support lion populations due to the availability of prey such as bison, deer, and elk. The Great Plains have been heavily modified by agriculture and human development, but there are ongoing efforts to restore parts of the region to their natural state. Lions could help control populations of herbivores and contribute to rewilding efforts aimed at restoring grasslands and natural ecosystems. There are a number of protected areas and national parks in the Great Plains that could serve as potential rewilding sites, such as Badlands National Park in South Dakota, Theodore Roosevelt National Park in North Dakota, or Grasslands National Park in Canada. Yellowstone and Greater Yellowstone Ecosystem, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Yellowstone National Park has already seen successful rewilding with the reintroduction of wolves, which has led to ecological improvements through trophic cascades. Introducing lions to the region could complement these efforts, creating a more balanced predator-prey dynamic and further restoring ecosystems. Yellowstone is home to large populations of bison, elk and deer, providing a suitable prey base for lions. The Greater Yellowstone Ecosystem, which includes surrounding areas in Wyoming, Montana and Idaho, is a vast and relatively remote region offering lions the space they would need to thrive. American Southwest, Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada. The American Southwest is home to wide, open desert and semi-desert areas that could support large predators like lions. While these areas have a lower density of herbivores, there are populations of deer, elk and other prey species that could sustain lions in some regions. Large, protected spaces like the Grand Canyon National Park in Arizona or Carlsbad Caverns National Park in New Mexico could be potential sites for lion rewilding, particularly if prey populations will manage to support the presence of large predators. The Southwest was once home to a wide range of large predators, including jaguars and mountain lions. Lions could help restore the ecological balance in this region. Rocky Mountains, US and Canada. The Rocky Mountains offer vast, rugged landscapes with a mix of forest, grasslands and open areas that could provide a suitable habitat for lions. Prey species like elk, mule deer and bighorn sheep are abundant, providing a strong base for lion populations. National parks such as Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado, Glacier National Park in Montana and Banff National Park in Canada are large, protected areas where lions could potentially allowing for the movement of large predators, which is essential for maintaining genetic diversity and healthy communities. Northern Canada, Yukon, Northwest Territories, Northern Canada. While the environment is more extreme, some parts of this region could provide suitable habitats for lions. Moose, caribou and other large herbivores populate the northern wilderness, providing potential prey for lions. While it would be a more challenging environment, lions have been shown to adapt to a variety of habitats, including cold regions. Alaska offers millions of acres of largely untouched wilderness, which could support a lion rewilding effort. The presence of large herbivores like moose, caribou and deer, along with the low human population density, makes it a potential candidate for introducing lions. Introducing lions to Alaska could help regulate herbivore populations and restore balance to ecosystems that have been affected by the loss of predators like wolves and grizzly bears in some regions. The harsh climate and seasonal prey availability could pose challenges for lions, but it might be possible to explore areas of Alaska with milder conditions. Florida, Everglades and Big Cypress National Preserve. Florida's Everglades and Big Cypress National Preserve offer unique habitats, including wetlands, forests and grasslands that could potentially support large predators. The area already supports a population of native Florida panthers, which could coexist with lions. Florida is home to a variety of herbivores, including deer and wild boar, which could serve as prey for lions. Additionally, the reintroduction of apex predators like lions could help control invasive species like wild boar, which have become a problem in parts of Florida. The Everglades is already the focus of major conservation efforts, and the introduction of lions could add a new dimension to restoring Florida's ecosystems. Considerations and challenges. While these regions offer potential for lion rewilding, there are significant challenges that must be addressed. Human-wildlife conflict. Lions could pose a danger to livestock and human populations, especially in areas near farms or communities. Strategies to mitigate this risk, such as creating protected areas or employing measures used in African lion conservation, would need to be developed. Prey. Availability. Lions require large populations of herbivores to sustain themselves. Ensuring that these regions have enough prey species, or managing prey populations through rewilding or breeding programs, would be crucial. Habitat suitability. Lions would need large connected habitats where they could roam freely without encountering significant human development. Fragmented or highly developed landscapes would not be suitable. Climate adaptation. Lions are native to warmer climates, so colder regions such as Alaska or northern Canada may pose challenges. However, some lions in Africa live in high-altitude, cooler environments, which suggests that adaptation could be possible. Rewilding lions in North America would require selecting large, remote regions with suitable habitats, adequate prey populations, and minimal human interaction. The Great Plains, Yellowstone, the American Southwest, and the Rocky Mountains are among the potential candidates for such a project. However, careful planning, public support, and ecological research would be necessary to ensure the success and sustainability of such an ambitious rewilding effort. If lions were to be rewilded in North America, their interaction with native species such as white-tailed deer, mule deer, caribou, elk, and moose, as well as non-native deer and non-native antelope, would have important ecological and behavioral impacts. Here's a breakdown of potential interactions. White-tailed deer. White-tailed deer are abundant across much of North America, particularly in the eastern US, and have high population densities in many regions. In some areas, they are overpopulated, leading to issues like overgrazing, crop damage, and loss of biodiversity. As a key prey species for lions, white-tailed deer populations would likely be reduced, which could help control their numbers in regions where they are currently overpopulated. Lions could help restore balance to ecosystems by reducing the pressure deer exert on plant communities and allowing forests to regenerate more naturally. By predating on white-tailed deer, lions could contribute to a trophic cascade, where the reduction in deer numbers allows other species of plants and animals to thrive. Mule deer are common in the western US and Canada, particularly in arid and mountainous regions. They prefer more open habitats like prairies, deserts and forests. Lions would likely prey on mule deer, particularly in areas like the Rocky Mountains and Great Plains, where they are abundant. This predation could help regulate mule deer populations and prevent overgrazing in sensitive ecosystems. Similar to white-tailed deer, a controlled mule deer population would promote healthier plant growth and improve habitat for other species, such as birds and small mammals. Caribou. Caribou are native to northern Canada and Alaska, and primarily inhabit boreal forests and tundra ecosystems. Their populations are currently in decline due to habitat loss, climate change, and human disturbances. Caribou would not be a primary prey species for lions, as they inhabit different ecosystems and have highly migratory behavior. However, in regions where caribou and lions ranges might overlap, for example parts of northern Canada, lions could occasionally prey on caribou. Given their migratory nature and relatively sparse populations, lion predation would likely have a limited impact on caribou. However, lions could contribute to regulating smaller, more isolated caribou populations and could help balance predator-prey dynamics if wolves or other predators are missing from the ecosystem. Elk. Elk are abundant in parts of the western US, Canada and the northern Rockies. Elk populations have increased in some areas due to conservation efforts, but can sometimes contribute to overgrazing, particularly in protected areas like national parks. Lions could prey on elk, particularly in regions like Yellowstone or the Rockies, where elk populations are large. This predation would help regulate elk numbers and reduce overgrazing, particularly in sensitive habitats. By controlling elk populations, lions could allow plant life to regenerate, reducing the impact of overgrazing on riparian areas, forests and grasslands. This could benefit a wide range of species, from beavers to birds, that rely on healthy plant communities. Moose. Moose are the largest herbivores in North America and are found in northern forests, including parts of Alaska, Canada and the northern US. Moose populations are stable in many areas, but can be affected by climate change and human activities. Moose would be challenging prey for lions due to their size, but they could occasionally fall prey to a pride of lions, particularly if they are weakened by disease or environmental stressors. Predation by lions on moose could help regulate populations, preventing overbrowsing of vegetation in forested areas. This could be particularly beneficial in regions where moose have large impacts on the regeneration of certain tree species, such as aspen and willow. Non-native deer. Non-native deer species, such as sika deer or axis deer, have been introduced in parts of North America, particularly in Texas and Hawaii. These species can compete with native deer for resources and sometimes contribute to habitat degradation. Lions would likely prey on non-native deer in regions where they overlap. This predation could help control invasive deer populations and reduce their negative impacts on native ecosystems. By reducing non-native deer populations, lions could help native species like white-tailed deer, mule deer and elk thrive, as well as reduce the competition for food and space. Non-native antelope species, such as the black buck or nilgai, have been introduced to Texas and other parts of the southern US. These species are often found on private game ranches and can compete with native wildlife for resources. Lions could prey on non-native antelope in regions where they coexist. As with non-native deer, lions could help regulate populations of antelope species that may otherwise have no natural predators in their introduced range. Predation on non-native antelope could help reduce their competition with native species like pronghorn, mule deer and elk, leading to healthier and more balanced ecosystems. Overall, ecological benefits of rewilding lions, trophic cascade effects. As apex predators, lions could restore balance to ecosystems by controlling herbivore populations, reducing overgrazing, and allowing plant communities to recover. This would promote biodiversity and habitat health, benefiting a wide range of species. Herbivore population control. In areas where species like deer, elk or moose are overpopulated, lions would help regulate their numbers, reducing the ecological damage caused by overgrazing or overbrowsing. This would have positive effects on forests, grasslands and wetlands. Restoration of native ecosystems. By controlling both native and non-native species, lions could contribute to the restoration of ecosystems that have been degraded by invasive species or overpopulated herbivores. Biodiversity boost. The presence of lions would benefit other species indirectly. With herbivore populations in check, plant diversity would increase, which in turn would support a greater diversity of insects, birds and small mammals. Rewilding benefits. The reintroduction of lions could serve as part of broader rewilding efforts aimed at restoring entire ecosystems, similar to the successful reintroduction of wolves in Yellowstone. Potential challenges. There could be conflict between lions and humans, particularly in areas near ranches or communities. Livestock depredation would be a concern, and strategies such as fencing, compensation programs, or livestock guardian animals might be necessary. Rewilding lions in North America would likely have positive ecological effects by controlling populations of large herbivores like deer, elk, and moose, as well as non-native species. This would help restore balance to ecosystems, promote biodiversity, and potentially reverse some of the damage caused by overgrazing and habitat degradation. However, careful planning would be required to mitigate new wildlife conflicts and ensure that prey populations remain sustainable. If lions were rewilded in North America, their interaction with wild horses and wild donkeys would add another layer to the ecological impact. Both of these species have significant populations in certain parts of the continent, and their interactions with lions would likely influence ecosystem dynamics in several ways. Wild horses, mustangs, are feral descendants of domestic horses brought to the Americas by European settlers. They are primarily found in the western US, particularly in states like Nevada, Wyoming, and Montana. Mustang populations have grown rapidly in some areas, leading to overgrazing, competition with native wildlife, and ecosystem degradation. Lions, as apex predators, would likely prey on wild horses, particularly young, old, or sick individuals. This predation could help regulate Mustang populations in areas where they have become overpopulated. However, since adult horses are large and strong, they may not be as easy for lions to hunt compared to smaller or more vulnerable species. Lions could naturally reduce wild horse populations, helping to mitigate the ecological damage caused by overgrazing and competition with native species like pronghorn, deer, and elk. This would be particularly beneficial in desert and grassland ecosystems, where wild horses often overconsume vegetation. By keeping horse populations in check, lions could help restore native plant communities and improve habitat quality for other species, including small mammals, birds, and insects. This would also reduce soil erosion caused by overgrazing in certain areas. Wild donkeys, burros, are also feral animals, descended from domestic donkeys brought to North America by settlers. Like wild horses, burros are found in arid regions of the western US, particularly in places like Arizona, California, and Nevada. They too can have negative impacts on ecosystems by overgrazing and competing with native herbivores. Wild donkeys could also become prey for lions. Burros are generally smaller and more vulnerable than wild horses, so they might be easier targets for lions, particularly if lions establish hunting patterns in areas where burros are abundant. Predation by lions could help regulate wild burro populations, reducing their impact on desert and scrubland ecosystems. Like mustangs, burros can cause significant environmental degradation through overgrazing, trampling, and competition with native species. Lions could play a role in curbing these effects. By controlling burrow populations, lions could improve habitat conditions for native wildlife such as bighorn sheep, pronghorn, and various plant species. This would help restore balance in regions where burrows have outcompeted native herbivores. Overall ecological benefits of lion predation on wild horses and donkeys population control. Both wild horses and burros have few natural predators in North America, allowing their populations to grow unchecked in some areas. Lions could help regulate these populations, preventing overgrazing and competition with native species. Restoration of native ecosystems, predation on wild horses and donkeys would alleviate some of the pressure they place on native ecosystems, allowing vegetation to recover and providing more resources for native species like pronghorn, bighorn sheep, and elk. Increased biodiversity. By reducing the ecological impact of wild horses and burros, lions could promote biodiversity by allowing native plant and animal species to flourish in regions currently affected by overgrazing and habitat degradation. Challenges. Some regions value wild horses and burros as cultural symbols or tourist attractions. The presence of lions might raise concerns among local communities or advocacy groups. People might be opposed to lions preying on these animals, and conservation strategies would need to carefully consider these social and political factors. Wild horses and burros are federally protected under the Wild Free-Roaming Horses and Burros Act of 1971. Any rewilding plan involving lions would need to navigate legal protections and potentially face opposition from wild horse advocacy groups. Potential for ecological balance. In ecosystems where wild horses and burrows have caused significant damage, the presence of lions could offer a natural solution for population control. By restoring predator-prey dynamics, lions would help manage populations of these feral species and contribute to healthier ecosystems overall. If lions were rewilded in North America, their interaction with species like wild boar, feral cattle, pronghorn and collared peccary would create a range of ecological effects. Each of these species occupies a different ecological niche, and lions, as apex predators, would likely have significant impacts on their populations and behavior. Here's a detailed breakdown of these interactions. Wild boar, feral swine. Wild boar, also known as feral swine, are an invasive species in many parts of North America, especially in the southern US, where they cause significant ecological and agricultural damage. They are highly adaptable, prolific breeders and have few natural predators, leading to population explosions in some areas. Lions would likely prey on wild boar, especially piglets and juvenile individuals, as they are smaller and more vulnerable than adult boars. Adult wild boars, particularly males, can be aggressive and difficult to hunt, but lions may still target them if necessary. Lions could help control wild boar populations, reducing their destructive impact on ecosystems. Wild boars root through soil, disrupt vegetation, and compete with native species for food. Lions could serve as a natural predator, reducing their numbers and curbing their spread. By reducing boar populations, lions could help restore damaged ecosystems. This would benefit native plant species, reduce soil erosion, and improve conditions for native herbivores like deer and pronghorn that compete with boars for resources. Feral cattle. Feral cattle are domesticated cattle that have returned to a wild state. They are found in various parts of North America, particularly in remote areas of the western US, Hawaii, and parts of Mexico. These animals can overgraze native vegetation, degrade ecosystems, and compete with native herbivores. Lions would likely prey on feral cattle, especially calves and weakened individuals. Adult cattle are large and strong, but lion prides are capable of taking down large herbivores, making feral cattle potential prey. Predation by lions could help reduce feral cattle populations, preventing overgrazing and degradation of ecosystems. This would allow native plant communities to recover and support more balanced ecosystems. By controlling feral cattle populations, lions would reduce the competition they pose to native herbivores like pronghorn, deer, and bighorn sheep. This would lead to healthier populations of native species and improved habitat quality. Pronghorn are native to North America and primarily found in the western US and parts of Canada. They are the fastest land animals in North America and inhabit open plains, grasslands, and deserts. While their populations are generally stable, they face threats from habitat loss and fragmentation. Lions might prey on pronghorn, though their speed and agility would make them difficult to catch. Lions would likely target young, old, or sick pronghorn, particularly in open grasslands and plains where pronghorn live. Given their speed, pronghorn may not be a primary prey species for lions, but occasional predation could help regulate pronghorn populations, ensuring they don't exceed the carrying capacity of their habitat. By preying on competing herbivores like feral cattle or non-native species, lions could improve habitat conditions for pronghorn, allowing for more sustainable populations and healthier ecosystems. Collared peccary, javelina. The collared peccary, also known as the javelina, is a native species found in the southwestern US, Mexico, and Central America. They typically inhabit arid deserts, scrublands, and forests and are omnivorous, feeding on plants, fruits, and small animals. Peccaries are social animals and often live in groups. Lions would likely prey on collared peccaries, particularly young or smaller individuals. While peccaries can be aggressive and have sharp tusks, they are smaller and more vulnerable compared to other prey like deer or cattle. Predation by lions could help control peccary populations, particularly in areas where peccaries may compete with other species for food resources. This could reduce their impact on certain plant species and limit their competition with other herbivores like deer and pronghorn. By regulating peccary populations, lions could help maintain a more balanced ecosystem, allowing for greater plant diversity and reduced pressure on desert and scrubland ecosystems. Overall ecological benefits of lion predation on these species. Population control of invasive and feral species. Lions would play a key role in controlling the populations of invasive or feral species like wild boar and feral cattle. This would help restore ecosystems that have been disrupted by overgrazing, rooting and competition with native species. Restoration of native plant communities. By reducing the pressure that species like wild boar and feral cattle place on vegetation, lions could promote the regeneration of native plants. This would benefit a wide range of species, including small mammals, birds and insects that depend on healthy plant communities. Reduced competition for native herbivores. Lions could indirectly benefit native herbivores like pronghorn and collared peccary by reducing competition from invasive species. This would improve food availability and habitat quality for these native species. Predator-prey dynamics. The reintroduction of lions would restore a critical predator-prey dynamic to ecosystems where large carnivores have been extirpated. This would lead to more balanced ecosystems with healthier populations of both prey species and predators. Rewilding lions in North America could have significant ecological benefits by controlling populations of species like wild boar, feral cattle, pronghorn and collared peccary. Lions would help regulate overpopulated or invasive species, restore balance to ecosystems and reduce competition for native wildlife. However, careful management would be needed to mitigate potential conflicts with humans and to protect vulnerable native species. If lions were rewilded in North America, their interaction with the American bison would be a significant aspect of the ecosystem dynamic. American bison are the largest land mammals in North America, historically forming a crucial part of the Great Plains ecosystem. Here's a look at how lions might interact with bison and the potential ecological impacts. American bison. Bison. American bison were once widespread across North America, particularly in the Great Plains, but their populations were decimated by overhunting and habitat loss in the 19th century. Today, bison are primarily found in protected areas like national parks, wildlife reserves, and privately owned lands. They are considered a keystone species due to their role in maintaining grassland ecosystems through grazing and wallowing behaviors. Interaction with lions. Lions would likely target young, old or weakened bison, as adult bison are extremely large and powerful, weighing up to 2,000 pounds. Healthy adult bison would be challenging prey even for a pride of lions given their size, strength and herding behavior. However, lions have been known to hunt large herbivores in Africa, like buffalo and giraffes, so predation on bison, especially calves or weakened individuals, would be possible. In response to lion predation, bison herds might adjust their behavior, such as increasing herd cohesion or becoming more vigilant. This would be similar to how other large herbivores, like African buffalo, behave in the presence of lions. Stronger bison herds could defend themselves against lions, especially in large numbers. Ecological impact of lion-bison. Interactions. Although lions would primarily prey on vulnerable bison, young or old, they could help regulate bison populations in areas where natural predators such as wolves or grizzly bears are absent or have limited influence. This would prevent overpopulation in confined areas and reduce the potential for overgrazing of grasslands. By targeting weaker individuals, lions could play a role in maintaining the health and genetic fitness of bison herds. Predation pressure often leads to stronger and more resilient populations, as only the fittest individuals survive and reproduce. Bison are known to have a large impact on grassland ecosystems through their grazing patterns. If lions reduce bison numbers, it might alleviate some of the pressure on vegetation, allowing for greater plant diversity and ecosystem recovery. In turn, this could benefit other herbivores that rely on the same habitats, such as pronghorn and elk. Bison as ecosystem engineers. Bison play a unique role in shaping grassland ecosystems. Their grazing helps maintain open habitats, promoting the growth of certain plant species and preventing woody plant encroachment. Additionally, their wallowing behavior creates small depressions in the ground that collect rainwater, benefiting other species. By reintroducing lions, it would restore a predator-prey dynamic that could lead to a more balanced ecosystem. The presence of predators like lions would prevent bison from becoming overabundant in confined areas like national parks or reserves, which in turn supports greater biodiversity across the ecosystem. Potential challenges. In areas where bison are raised for conservation or commercial purposes, the presence of lions could raise concerns about the loss of valuable animals, particularly calves. Mitigating strategies such as securing bison in protected areas or implementing compensation programs for ranchers would need to be part of any lion rewilding initiative. Bison populations today are mostly restricted to protected areas, and habitat fragmentation may limit the extent of natural predator-prey interactions between lions and bison. Without extensive, connected grasslands, lions might not have access to large bison herds, reducing the effectiveness of rewilding efforts. Comparison to African ecosystems. In Africa, lions coexist with large herbivores such as African buffalo, giraffes and elephants. Although African buffalo are similar in size and strength to bison, lions have developed strategies for hunting them, often by working cooperatively in prides. This suggests that, over time, lions in North America could develop similar tactics for hunting bison, although predation might be infrequent due to the size and strength of adult bison. Predation strategies. In Africa, lions typically isolate weaker members of the herd or calves. In North America, lion predation on bison would likely focus on similar strategies, targeting calves or older bison that are unable to keep up with the herd. The interaction between rewilded lions and American bison could help regulate bison populations and restore predator-prey dynamics that are currently missing in many North American ecosystems. Lions would likely prey on vulnerable bison, contributing to healthier and more resilient herds. The ecological benefits of this interaction could extend to grassland health and biodiversity. However, challenges such as human-wildlife conflict and habitat fragmentation would need to be carefully managed to ensure the success of such rewilding efforts. If lions were rewilded in North America, their interaction with wolves would be complex, given that both species are apex predators. The introduction of lions into ecosystems where wolves already play a critical role could lead to competition for prey, changes in predator behavior, and shifts in the ecological balance. Here's a breakdown of how lions might interact with wolves and the potential ecological outcomes. Current role of wolves in North America. Grey wolves are native apex predators in many parts of North America. They primarily hunt large herbivores such as elk, deer and bison, and live in packs that rely on cooperative hunting and strong social structures. Wolves play a key role in regulating prey populations and maintaining the health of ecosystems. In ecosystems like Yellowstone National Park, wolves have had profound impacts on herbivore populations and plant regeneration. The presence of wolves controls the numbers of prey species and prevents overgrazing, allowing vegetation and other wildlife to thrive. Competition between lions and wolves. Both lions and wolves would compete for similar prey such as elk, deer and bison. This competition could lead to increased pressure on prey populations, which may result in shifts in the behavior and distribution of both predators. In ecosystems where prey is abundant, competition might be less intense, but in areas with fewer prey animals, lions and wolves could come into direct conflict over food resources. While wolves tend to target medium to large ungulates, lions might focus more on larger prey such as bison or elk, but could also hunt smaller species like deer. In times of scarcity, lions could kill wolf prey, or scavenging wolves could eat lion kills. Given their size and power, lions could displace wolves from kills, or even from certain territories. In Africa, lions regularly displace other large carnivores like hyenas and wild dogs from their kills. Wolves, while highly social and cooperative hunters, are smaller and less powerful than lions. As a result, wolves might lose access to prey that they have killed or be forced to hunt in less optimal areas. Wolves could scavenge from lion kills, taking advantage of the carcasses left behind by lions. However, lions might aggressively defend their kills, leading to confrontations between the two predators. Changes in wolf behavior lions could cause wolves to adjust their territorial ranges. If lions dominate key areas with abundant prey, wolves might be forced to shift their territories to less favorable regions. This could alter the social structure of wolf packs and reduce their overall hunting efficiency. In response to competition with lions, wolves might change their hunting strategies or target different prey. For example, wolves might focus more on smaller herbivores or even increase their predation on young or weak animals to avoid direct competition with lions over large prey like bison or elk. Potential for coexistence. In areas where prey is abundant, lions and wolves could potentially coexist with minimal conflict. In African ecosystems, multiple large carnivores, including lions, leopards, cheetahs, and hyenas, coexist by specializing in different prey or employing different hunting strategies. Similarly, lions and wolves might partition resources in North America by focusing on different prey species or hunting in different habitats. Lions are primarily nocturnal hunters, while wolves are often crepuscular, active during dawn and dusk. This difference in hunting times could allow both species to coexist without directly competing for the same kills at the same time. Ecological impacts of lion-wolf interactions. The presence of both lions and wolves would likely cause prey species to change their behavior. Elk and deer, for instance, might become more vigilant and alter their feeding patterns or habitats to avoid predators. This could result in a shift in grazing pressure on different parts of the ecosystem, affecting plant communities and overall biodiversity. Potential conflict. In areas where lion and wolf territories overlap, direct confrontations could occur, especially near kills. Although wolves live in packs and have the advantage of numbers, lions are larger and stronger. While rare, it's possible that lions could kill wolves during territorial disputes or over access to food, wolves killing lion cubs. Wolves, particularly in larger packs, might target lion cubs if they have the opportunity. This predation could occur in areas where both species overlap, especially if the lions are vulnerable or if the wolves perceive the cubs as easy targets. If lions disrupt wolf packs by killing individual wolves or displacing them from territories, it could weaken pack cohesion and reduce hunting efficiency. Smaller or weaker wolf packs might struggle to hunt larger prey or defend their territories against other predators. Conversely, lions might also kill wolf pups if they encounter them. Lions are territorial and protective of their own young, so they may see wolf pups as threats or competitors. Historical context. In the Pleistocene epoch, North America had a more diverse megafauna and predator guild, including lions, Panthera atrox, and dire wolves, Canis dirus. These species coexisted with other large predators like saber-toothed cats. The reintroduction of lions would, in a sense, restore part of the ancient predator-prey dynamic that existed before the extinction of many megafauna species. Wolves and lions have historically coexisted in ecosystems with multiple large carnivores, so it is possible they could do so again under the right conditions. The rewilding of lions in North America would introduce a new level of competition for wolves, especially over prey species like deer, elk, and bison. Lions, being larger and more powerful, could displace wolves from kills or territories, potentially reducing wolf populations in some areas. However, both predators could coexist if prey is abundant and they partition their hunting strategies. The presence of lions could lead to changes in the behavior of both wolves and their prey, altering the ecological dynamics of North American ecosystems. Careful management would be necessary to ensure that both species thrive without causing significant disruption to existing predator-prey relationships. If lions were rewilded in North America, their interactions with black bears and grizzly bears, also known as brown bears in certain regions, would be complex, given that both bear species are formidable omnivores and occupy overlapping habitats with other large carnivores. The interactions between lions and bears would likely involve competition for food and territory, occasional confrontations, and shifts in the behavior of both species. Here's how lions might interact with these two bear species. Black bears, Ursus americanus. Black bears are widespread across North America, inhabiting forests, mountains and some grassland areas. They are primarily omnivorous, feeding on a variety of plants, berries, insects, small animals and carrion. Black bears are generally smaller than grizzly bears and tend to avoid direct confrontations with larger predators. Interaction with lions. Black bears and lions would likely compete for food sources, particularly when it comes to scavenging. Lions, like many large carnivores, will scavenge kills made by other animals, and black bears often rely on scavenging for a significant portion of their diet. Lions could dominate black bears at carcasses due to their size and predatory nature. Lions could pose a threat to black bear cubs, especially if the lions encountered the cubs while the mother was away or unable to defend them. In Africa, lions are known to prey on young leopards or hyenas when they come across them, and a similar dynamic could play out with black bears. Adult black bears, however, would likely avoid direct confrontations with lions, retreating to avoid injury. Black bears are more likely to avoid lions rather than engage in conflict. Like with other large predators, black bears often retreat or climb trees when threatened. Lions, while excellent climbers, may not pursue bears up trees, leading to avoidance behavior as a key survival tactic for black bears. Grizzly bears, Ursus arctos horribilis. Grizzly bears are larger and more aggressive than black bears, and they inhabit regions across Alaska, western Canada, and parts of the northwestern United States. Grizzlies are omnivorous and highly opportunistic, feeding on plants, fish, small and large animals, and carrion. They are dominant in their ecosystems, often competing with other large predators such as wolves for food. Interaction with lions. Grizzly bears and lions would likely compete for large prey such as deer, elk, and bison. While lions are efficient hunters, grizzly bears are powerful scavengers and occasionally hunt large animals themselves. Grizzlies may attempt to steal kills from lions, much as they do with wolves and other predators. However, lions, especially in groups, could defend their kills from bears. Grizzly bears are known to displace wolves and other carnivores from kills, and they might attempt to do the same with lions. However, lions, being larger and more aggressive predators than wolves, might put up more of a fight. Grizzlies, especially larger males, could hold their ground in these confrontations, though the outcome would depend on the number of lions and the circumstances of the encounter. Direct confrontations between grizzly bears and lions would likely be rare, but could occur over carcasses or territories with high prey density. Grizzly bears, being solitary but powerful, might avoid groups of lions, prides, to prevent injury, but a large, confident grizzly could challenge a lion if it felt threatened or if food resources were scarce. Similar to black bears, lion predation on grizzly bear cubs could occur if cubs are left vulnerable or separated from their mother. However, grizzly mothers are highly protective and aggressive when defending their young, making these encounters dangerous for lions as well. Historical context. During the Pleistocene epoch, North America had a rich diversity of large predators, including the American lion, Panthera atrox, and short-faced bears, Arctodus sinus. These massive carnivores coexisted with species like wolves and other large herbivores. The reintroduction of lions would in some ways restore part of this ancient predator guild, although the exact interactions between modern lions and bears would differ from those between their extinct ancestors. The interaction between rewilded lions and black or grizzly bears in North America would largely involve competition for food and territory, with occasional confrontations, especially over kills. Black bears would likely avoid lions, relying on their climbing ability and avoidance strategies, while grizzly bears might be more assertive and could challenge lions over food. Both species could coexist in North America if they occupy different ecological niches or habitats. However, rewilding efforts would need to consider potential competition, human-wildlife conflict, and the conservation of prey species to ensure that both predators can thrive. If lions were rewilded in North America, their interactions with cougars, also known as pumas or mountain lions, puma concolor, would likely involve competition for prey, territorial disputes, and occasional confrontations. Lions and cougars are both large, apex predators, and their interactions would be shaped by their overlapping habitats, prey preferences, and behavioral tendencies. Here's a detailed look at how these two big cats might interact. Competition for prey. Both lions and cougars are carnivores, primarily preying on ungulates like deer, white-tailed and mule, elk and other herbivores. In areas where their ranges overlap, lions and cougars would compete for the same prey, especially medium-sized herbivores like deer and smaller prey like wild pigs. Lions are larger and more powerful than cougars, which would give them an advantage when competing for large prey. They could dominate kills made by cougars, much like lions in Africa often steal food from smaller predators like leopards or cheetahs. Cougars, however, are solitary, elusive and highly adaptable hunters. They might avoid direct competition by focusing on smaller prey or shifting their hunting times to avoid lions. Unlike lions, which typically hunt in prides and rely on group hunting tactics, cougars are ambush predators and are adept at taking down prey quietly and quickly, reducing the likelihood of their kills being detected by lions. Territorial disputes, territory overlap. Cougars have vast territories and are highly territorial, marking and defending their home ranges from other cougars. If lions were introduced into North America, these territories would overlap, particularly in open habitats where both species might hunt large herbivores like deer and elk. Displacement. Given the lion's larger size and social structure, lions often live in groups or prides, making them more dominant. Cougars would likely avoid direct confrontations with lions. Lions could displace cougars from prime hunting grounds, forcing cougars into less optimal or more remote areas. Cougars are adaptable and may retreat to forested or mountainous regions where they can hunt smaller prey and avoid lion interactions. Conflict avoidance. Cougars are solitary and more likely to avoid fights with other large predators such as wolves and bears to avoid injury. Similarly, they would likely avoid encounters with lions, using their stealth and knowledge of the terrain to evade direct conflict. Lions as a threat to cougars. While cougars are formidable predators, they are significantly smaller than lions. In direct confrontations, especially involving male lions, cougars would be at a disadvantage. There could be instances where lions prey on or kill cougars, particularly if lions encounter young, weak or injured cougars. Cubs and vulnerable individuals. Lion prides, especially females with cubs, are known to be aggressive towards other carnivores. Just as lions in Africa sometimes kill leopards, lions in North America might target cougar cubs if they perceive them as a threat or if they come across them by chance. But cougars might kill lion cubs to reduce future competition. Ecological niche. Partitioning. Cougars are highly versatile and can thrive in a wide range of habitats, from forests and mountains to deserts. If lions were reintroduced into North America, they would likely prefer open grasslands, prairies and areas with large prey populations, such as deer or elk herds. Cougars might respond by retreating into more forested, mountainous or rugged areas where they can use their stealth and climbing abilities to hunt smaller prey, such as raccoons, rabbits or young ungulates. This separation of habitats could reduce direct competition and allow both species to coexist, similar to how lions and leopards coexist in Africa by occupying different ecological niches. Cougars, being more solitary and elusive, could adapt by becoming more nocturnal or hunting during times when lions are less active. This would reduce the risk of direct encounters and competition over prey. Historical precedent. During the Pleistocene epoch, North America was home to a variety of large predators, including the now extinct American lion, Panthera atrox. Cougars coexisted with these larger predators, suggesting that they have the capacity to survive alongside bigger carnivores. However, this would have involved niche partitioning and a shift in behavior to avoid direct competition and conflict. Historically, cougars have coexisted with other large predators like wolves, bears and jaguars in Central and South America, adapting to their presence by modifying hunting strategies and habitat use. Ecological impacts of lion-cougar interactions. The presence of lions would likely lead to changes in cougar behavior. Cougars may become more secretive and avoid open habitats where lions are dominant. They might also increase their reliance on smaller prey and become more nocturnal to avoid competition. Both lions and cougars would exert pressure on prey populations like deer and elk. Cougars might shift their focus to different prey species if lions significantly reduce the availability of large herbivores. This could also lead to a more pronounced role for cougars in controlling populations of smaller mammals and ungulates in more remote or forested areas. As scavengers, cougars might occasionally feed on carcasses left by lions, similar to how they scavenge from other large predators like wolves or bears. However, cougars are less reliant on scavenging than some other carnivores, so this would likely be a secondary strategy. If lions were reintroduced into North America, they would likely dominate cougars in terms of size and social structure, leading to competition for prey and territory. Cougars would adapt by avoiding direct confrontations with lions, shifting to more nocturnal behavior, focusing on smaller prey, or moving into more rugged, forested habitats. While occasional confrontations might occur, cougars' adaptability and stealth would likely allow them to coexist with lions, albeit with some changes in their behavior and territorial range. If lions were rewilded in North America and encountered jaguars, Panthera onca, their interactions would likely be marked by competition for prey and territory, much like interactions with cougars. However, the dynamic between lions and jaguars would be somewhat different due to the unique social structures, hunting techniques, and ecological roles of these big cats. Here's a breakdown of how lions might interact with jaguars, including both male jaguar coalitions and female jaguar coalitions. Competition for prey. Both lions and jaguars are apex predators, preying on a wide variety of animals, including deer, for example, white-tailed mule, wild pigs, and larger prey like elk and even cattle. Their diets would overlap significantly, particularly in regions where large herbivores are abundant. However, jaguars also specialize in hunting animals that lions may not, such as peccaries, capybaras, and caimans in South America. Lions, being social animals, would likely have the upper hand when competing for larger prey due to their ability to hunt cooperatively in prides. This could lead to lions dominating larger prey like elk, bison, or feral cattle. Jaguars, on the other hand, are solitary and have a more versatile hunting style. They are ambush predators that rely on stealth and power, known for their ability to crush the skulls or spines of their prey with a single bite. This unique ability may allow them to continue hunting certain prey, such as smaller ungulates or semi-aquatic animals like caimans, that lions would not typically pursue. Ecological impact. With both lions and jaguars in the same ecosystem, prey species like deer, elk, and wild boar would face increased predation pressure. This could lead to shifts in prey populations, with certain species becoming more scarce, forcing both predators to adjust their diets. The presence of two apex predators would enhance biodiversity by regulating prey populations and preventing overgrazing. However, careful management would be needed to ensure that neither predator nor prey species are overexploited. Interactions between lions and male and female jaguar coalitions. If lions were reintroduced into North America, their interactions with both male jaguar coalitions and female jaguar coalitions would add another layer of complexity to the dynamics between these apex predators. While jaguars are typically solitary, male coalitions, two or more males, and female coalitions, typically mothers with grown daughters or sisters, have been observed in areas of high prey density, such as the Pantanal. These coalitions could increase their ability to compete with lions in certain contexts. Male jaguar coalitions versus lions. A coalition of male jaguars would be more capable of standing their ground against lions compared to solitary jaguars. With two or more male jaguars working together, they could effectively challenge lions for territory or resources, though lions still have the advantage of being larger and more group-oriented. Just as male lion coalitions protect their territories from rivals, male jaguars could band together to defend valuable resources like prey or mates against potential lion encroachment. This could lead to occasional confrontations, especially in areas where both species' territories overlap. While jaguar coalitions could compete more successfully with lions than solitary individuals, direct conflict would still likely be avoided whenever possible. Lions, with their larger size and group hunting strategies, might still push male jaguar coalitions out of prime territories, particularly if the jaguars are outnumbered or if the lion group is large. Male jaguar coalitions, although rare, tend to form under specific circumstances, such as between related males or during temporary alliances in large overlapping territories. Competition with lions. Male jaguar coalitions might be more willing to defend their territory or prey compared to solitary jaguars. However, lions, especially prides or coalitions of male lions, are larger and more powerful. A male lion coalition would be more than a match for a pair or group of jaguars. Even united male jaguars would likely avoid direct conflict unless absolutely necessary. To avoid confrontations with lions, male jaguars might shift their hunting grounds to denser forested areas or hunt during times when lions are less active. Lions typically prefer open grasslands, so male jaguar coalitions could exploit more inaccessible or dense territories to minimize competition. Coalitions of male jaguars would have a slight advantage over solitary jaguars in terms of defense or securing larger prey. However, they still wouldn't match the cooperative group hunting methods of lions. They might target mid-sized prey in denser habitats, while lions would dominate the open grasslands and focus on large ungulates like elk or deer. Behavioral changes increase defense. Male jaguar coalitions could become more aggressive in defending their territories and prey from lions, though the balance of power would still favor the larger lions. These coalitions might be more territorial and could occasionally challenge lions over kills or territory, but they would be more cautious and strategic in their approach. Male coalitions might stake out territories near rivers or forests that lions are less likely to frequent. This could lead to some jaguars pushing deeper into their historical range or concentrating in more remote areas. Female jaguar coalitions versus lions, mother-daughter coalitions. Female jaguars, especially mothers with their grown daughters, could form small coalitions in areas of high prey density. These groups would likely be less confrontational than male jaguar coalitions, but could still benefit from group dynamics in terms of defense and territory maintenance. Female jaguars are highly protective of their cubs. If lions threaten their cubs, females might work together to defend them, though they would likely avoid direct conflict with lions if possible. Female coalitions might be more successful at protecting cubs from lions than solitary jaguar mothers due to the strength in numbers. Female jaguar coalitions could be displaced by lions, especially in more open territories where lions prefer to hunt. To avoid conflicts, these female jaguar coalitions would likely stick to denser, more forested regions or wetlands where they could avoid lion prides. Female jaguar coalitions are more common when mothers and daughters share a territory, or when young females are helping rear cubs. Protection of cubs and territory. Female jaguar coalitions, especially those with cubs, would be highly cautious around lions. Lions are known to kill the cubs of other predators to reduce future competition. As a result, female jaguars would likely avoid any known lion territories and become more protective of their cubs. While female jaguar coalitions might be protective, they are unlikely to directly challenge lions, especially prides. Lions' social nature and size advantage would generally deter jaguars from direct confrontations. Female jaguars would likely retreat or move away from areas dominated by lions to protect their young. Female coalitions would focus on smaller prey in more remote or dense habitats. They would also likely hunt at night or during off-peak hours to minimize interactions with lions. Coalition versus coalition male jaguar coalitions versus lion coalitions. In direct conflicts, male lion coalitions would overpower male jaguar coalitions. However, male jaguars would avoid lions whenever possible, as jaguars are more stealthy and adaptable to forested environments, whereas lions are stronger in open landscapes. Female jaguar coalitions versus lionesses. In terms of territory and resource competition, female jaguar coalitions would likely avoid lionesses and their prides. Lionesses are efficient group hunters, especially in open areas, and would dominate any competition over large prey. Female jaguars would instead rely on their agility, stealth and preference for solitary hunting to target smaller prey in more secluded areas. Male-male or male-female coalitions of jaguars might offer more resistance against lone male lions or smaller lion groups. Coalitions are rare among jaguars, but when they do occur, the combined strength of two jaguars could deter or even fight back against smaller lion groups. Ecological impact prey, population regulation. In ecosystems with both lions and jaguar coalitions, large herbivore populations such as deer, elk and wild boar would face significant predation pressure. This could lead to healthier ecosystems through the regulation of prey populations, reducing overgrazing. Coalitions of male or female jaguars would play a role in keeping prey levels balanced, especially in more remote or forested regions. Biodiversity. With lions occupying open grasslands and jaguar coalitions focusing on dense forests or wet habitats, this partitioning would help maintain biodiversity. By preventing any single predator from dominating the landscape, both lions and jaguar coalitions would help support a wider variety of species. The Pleistocene epoch, ancient coexistence. During the Pleistocene epoch, both jaguars and the now extinct American lion, Panthera atrox, roamed North America. These species likely had some level of interaction, and it's possible that jaguar historical precedents occupied forested niches, while the larger American lions dominated open landscapes. This ancient coexistence suggests that a modern rewilding of lions alongside jaguars could be feasible with appropriate habitat separation and prey availability. Rewilding lions in North America might seem like a bold and unconventional idea, but the underlying reasons for doing so stem from the broader goal of restoring balance to ecosystems that have been dramatically altered by human activities. The absence of large apex predators has led to ecological imbalances that rewilding could help address. Here are the primary reasons why rewilding lions in North America could be beneficial. Restoring ecosystem balance. Lions as apex predators naturally regulate populations of large herbivores like deer, elk and bison. Without such predators, herbivore populations can explode, leading to overgrazing and the degradation of plant life, forests and ecosystems. This is already a significant problem in parts of North America, where deer overpopulation is leading to habitat destruction and loss of biodiversity. Reintroducing lions could trigger a trophic cascade, a chain reaction where the presence of a top predator reshapes the entire ecosystem. As herbivore populations are kept in check, plant communities recover, which can benefit many other species, including insects, birds and smaller mammals, preventing overgrazing and habitat degradation. Herbivore overpopulation. In many parts of North America, especially in areas without significant populations of wolves or other large carnivores, species like deer have overpopulated. Overgrazing by these herbivores leads to deforestation, soil erosion, and the destruction of habitats for other species. Lions could play a crucial role in managing these herbivore populations naturally, reducing the need for human intervention through culling or hunting. Overgrazing results in a loss of biodiversity, with plant species disappearing and habitats becoming less suitable for a variety of animals. By reintroducing predators like lions, ecosystems can return to a healthier state, allowing plant species to regenerate and support a wider variety of wildlife. Promoting biodiversity. Many North American ecosystems have seen a decline in biodiversity due to habitat destruction, pollution, and human activities. By restoring lions or similar apex predators, the food chain can be rebalanced, helping to create more stable and diverse ecosystems. Increased biodiversity makes ecosystems more resilient to climate change, disease, and other environmental threats. The presence of lions could indirectly benefit smaller predators, scavengers, and other animals. For example, by controlling large herbivore populations, lions could help ensure that more resources are available for a wider range of species, allowing ecosystems to thrive. Restoring prehistoric ecosystems. Filling the role of the extinct American lion. North America was once home to a lion-like species, the American lion, Panthera atrox. which became extinct about 11,000 years ago. This large predator once played a crucial role in the ecosystem, controlling populations of megafauna like mammoths, horses, and bison. The extinction of the American lion left a void in the food chain, and reintroducing a similar predator could help restore some of the lost ecological functions. Rewilding for ecological restoration. Bringing back lions to North America could help restore ecosystems to something closer to their prehistoric state, before human-driven changes such as hunting and habitat destruction led to the extinction of many large mammals and their predators. Mitigating human-wildlife conflict in a sustainable way, reducing the need for human control. In many areas, wildlife managers and hunters have to artificially control deer and elk populations to prevent overgrazing. This is both costly and labor-intensive. Rewilding lions could offer a natural and sustainable way to keep these populations in balance, reducing the need for constant human intervention. Learning from successful predator reintroductions. The reintroduction of wolves in places like Yellowstone National Park offers a model for how large predators can restore ecological balance. Since wolves were reintroduced to Yellowstone in 1995, their presence has led to healthier ecosystems, less overgrazing, and the resurgence of species like beavers and songbirds. Lions could offer similar ecological benefits in other regions. Supporting climate change, mitigation. Healthy, diverse ecosystems with apex predators can enhance carbon sequestration. When plants are allowed to thrive, due to reduced grazing pressure from herbivores, they absorb more carbon from the atmosphere, helping to mitigate the effects of climate change. By restoring balance through the presence of lions, ecosystems can recover their natural functions, including carbon storage. Ecosystems with apex predators are often more resilient to environmental changes. Lions could help promote healthier ecosystems that are better able to adapt to the impacts of climate change, ensuring the long-term sustainability of natural habitats. Educational and ecotourism opportunities. Rewilding lions could serve as a high-profile conservation project, drawing attention to the importance of ecological balance and predator-prey relationships. It could inspire public interest in conservation efforts and the protection of ecosystems. Lions are iconic animals that could attract tourists and generate revenue for conservation programs. Much like the wolf reintroduction in Yellowstone, a rewilding effort involving lions could create opportunities for wildlife tourism, supporting local economies while promoting environmental education. Conservation of lion populations with African lion populations declining due to habitat loss, human-wildlife conflict and poaching. Finding alternative habitats outside of Africa could offer a way to help conserve the species. Although controversial, this approach could provide additional safeguards for lions by giving them new, protected territories where they can thrive without the pressures they face in their native regions. Rewilding lions in North America would be a bold step in restoring the continent's ecosystems, correcting the imbalance caused by the loss of apex predators and reducing herbivore overpopulation. By bringing back a large predator, North American ecosystems could see healthier plant communities, increased biodiversity, and reduced human intervention. Though challenging, the potential benefits of rewilding lions could lead to more sustainable, balanced ecosystems, while also providing opportunities for education, research, and conservation. As we look to the future, the possibility of rewilding lions in North America isn't just about bringing back a majestic predator. It's about restoring balance, rejuvenating ecosystems, and reawakening the wild spirit of this continent. Nature thrives when every piece of the puzzle is in place, and lions, nature's powerful stewards, could be the key to a healthier, more resilient wilderness. Lions once ruled the wilds of North America. Could their reign return? It's up to us to decide. Together, we can create a future where nature and humanity thrive side by side.